All right. Well, thanks everyone so much for joining this evening. We're so glad to have you here. We're looking forward to spending the evening chatting about St. Jerome's University, talking a little bit about some of our student supports and what life on campus here at St. Jerome's looks like. So we'll start off our evening here by just acknowledging the land that we gather on. We acknowledge here at St. Jerome's University with respect that St. Jerome's University and the University of Waterloo reside and operate on the traditional territory of the Ottawandaron, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. St. Jerome's University is situated on the Haldimand Tract, the land that Frederick Haldimand granted to the Haudenosaunee of the Six Nations of the Grand River in 1784, and that includes 10 kilometers on both sides of the Grand River and extends from its source to Lake Erie. We give thanks for the privilege to work and to live on this land, and we're committed to building respectful relationships with Indigenous people and communities to enhance our knowledge and learn how we can have an active role in reconciliation. And this is both individual work and also work of our institution that we feel very connected to and called to ensure that we're playing an active role in reconciliation and what that looks like. So my name is Emily Litster. I am the manager of outreach and recruitment here at St. Jerome's University at the University of Waterloo. And I'm really glad to be speaking with all of you today about St. Jerome's University. This is a photo of me in the Tombstone Mountains, about 7 hours north of Whitehorse, Yukon. One of my favorite things to do is to explore new places with people that I love, and I'm grateful that my work allows me to visit exciting spots around the country to meet with students like you who are excited about studying at St. Jerome's University and the University of Waterloo. I'm a proud graduate of a liberal arts program here at St. Jerome's. I achieved a Bachelor of Arts in Religious Studies and Peace and Conflict Studies, and also studied at the University of Waterloo for my graduate studies and achieved a Master of Peace and Conflict Studies. I've spent my entire career championing students in various ways in the post-secondary sector and specifically supporting and working with students who are pursuing degrees in the liberal arts. So I'm very glad to be here and talking to all of you about St. Jerome's University. And I'm also very glad to introduce my colleague and friend, Clayton McCord, who I'll pass over to introduce himself.
Hi, Emily, or thanks, Emily, and hello to everyone. It's fantastic to be here. It's an honor to be here. As Emily said, my name is Clayton McCourt, and I am a relatively new director of student affairs here at St. Jerome's University. I have 15 years of experience working in higher education, and in particular in student affairs. Of those 15 years, six of those 15 years, I spent living on campus while working in full-time roles. I'm a graduate of Wilfrid Laurier University with a degree in political science and a minor in languages. And something that I'm really proud of is I have a master's degree from Michigan State University in student affairs administration and a teaching certificate in teaching and learning for higher education. So much like Emily, I have dedicated my entire somewhat young career still to working with students and in particular in the higher education environment. And I wouldn't change it for a second. My current role allows me to be involved at some more complex higher levels here at the institution. But what I love about it the most is it's a role that still keeps me really, really connected to students on an everyday basis. And I look forward to engaging with all of you and hope to see you pass by my door when you get here.
Thanks so much, Clayton. We are the co-founder here at St. Jerome's University of the University of Waterloo and are located right in the heart of campus, as you can see here on this map. Students at St. Jerome's are also Waterloo students. They'll study at Waterloo, they take advantage of all services and extracurriculars, and will graduate with a University of Waterloo degree. But at St. Jerome's, we've been offering students a holistic approach to education that is both unique yet complementary to their experience at the University of Waterloo. Our mission, at its core, is to be Canada's premier Catholic undergraduate university, preparing students to serve and to lead. Since 1865, we have been educating and preparing students to serve others and to lead with purpose. We understand our students as whole people who are formed to contribute thoughtfully, to contribute creatively and positively to the common good. And what we mean by that is that we know that you aren't just students that are sitting in our classrooms. You bring life experience, a physical self, an emotional self, a spiritual self, and many complex pieces of who you are that we want to nurture here at St. Jerome's University. We're going to tell you in this presentation all of the various ways that we approach our work, Clayton and I, and how we try to expand our students to serve and lead their communities. At the University of Waterloo, St. Jerome's University offers programs in Honors Arts and in Honors Arts in Business, two programs designed to prepare students for the future world of work. A liberal arts education provides you with a transferable skill set, preparing you for a career in a variety of industries by nurturing your personal development and strengthening your leadership skills. We know that with recent advancements in tech, organizations are placing an even stronger emphasis and importance on what we call human skills that simply can't be replaced by robots or softwares. These skills include things like creativity, communication, empathy, cultural awareness, and collaboration. In a recent article published by RBC, 92% of recruiters said that soft skills, or human skills as we call them here at St. Jerome's, matter as much or more than hard skills. And a recent study published by IBM found that these skills dominated the top 4 competencies that global executives seek in their businesses. Speaking of the University of Waterloo, our St. Jerome students also take advantage of Waterloo's incredible co-op program, which allows St. Jerome students to gain up to 20 months of paid relevant work experience. Co-op is something that any St. Jerome's University student can add to their degree, and it's available in all 30 arts majors. You'll access a network of over 7,000 employers who hire St. Jerome's and Waterloo students each year, and you'll receive plenty of professional development advising, support, and guidance along the way. Take Kat, for example. Kat is studying Honors Arts at St. Jerome's, majoring in legal studies and sociology. Like all Waterloo art students, Kat had the option to enroll in co-op, which equips her with human-centered skills developed in her arts courses and the relevant work experience that employers are looking for. Kat now has experience working at a law firm and in human resources because of co-op, and will graduate with a globally recognized University of Waterloo degree. The personalized supports and leadership positions she accessed through St. Jerome's not only helped her feel more prepared for her co-op work terms, but also for her future after graduation. This leads well into some conversations around leadership, residence, and what all of these pieces look like for you when you decide to live on campus here with us at St. Jerome's University. So I'm going to pass back over to Clayton, who's going to chat through some of those pieces for us.
Thanks so much, Emily. Much like the slide that you see before you, which says strengthen your leadership skills, we've got plenty of leadership opportunities here at St. Jerome's for you to really tackle that and dig in and find out a little bit more about yourself, specifically outside of the classroom. The one thing that I do want to highlight that you're probably going to hear me talk about throughout all of my slides is that your involvement in the campus community in one way or another, whether it be in residence or in some of the leadership opportunities that I'm about to explain or talk to you about, there's research out there, really robust research that talks about it all contributes to your retention. So you being able to stay here with us at St. Jerome's and proceed throughout your studies. It has an impact on your persistence. So to continue from one year to the next, first year to second year, from one co-op experience to the next. And then most importantly, we know that your involvement, specifically in leadership opportunities, leads to high graduation rates. So believe it or not, your involvement in a leadership opportunity on campus, and in particular, we feel here at St. Jerome's, is going to have a really positive effect on your overall university experience and your overall success. So that's something that's really important to highlight. It's something that I really talk about, and I like to dig into a little bit as I talk about all the opportunities that we have available. So yeah, so if you decide to become involved, and we want you to be involved, we believe you're going to be naturally more connected. And we know that people who are more naturally connected in some way at a deeper level with the school that they're at are also a little bit more positive about their overall experience. So that leads to leadership opportunities, and we believe really strongly at St. Jerome's that no matter what leadership opportunity you decide to take part in, you're going to have an opportunity to really Develop your values, think about what you value, learn about what other folks value due to that close proximity and interaction with many people that might be different from you, from many different backgrounds. You're going to be able to engage and learn from conflict with those folks from time to time. We actually think that's a really, really rich experience for young people to engage in and learn from. And I think you're going to learn about working from a team. And sometimes you might be bringing some of your co-op experiences to those leadership experiences, or you might be taking some of the lessons learned from your leadership experiences back into the real world in your co-op experiences, or certainly, hopefully, you'll be able to relate them into the classroom. All of that being said, I'll get to the point and talk about some of the opportunities. Right from the get-go, if you're a first-year student and you're living with us in residence, you have the opportunity to be involved in residence, whether in residence council in particular, which is a group that meets and sometimes talks with people like myself or some of the other folks on the management team about the overall functioning of the residence. There's certainly an opportunity to engage in activity planning and engage with other campus partners here on the St. Jerome's campus. So that's maybe your first number one way if you're living in residence. Certainly in later years, you'd have the opportunity to become a Residence Life Don, which I did myself. That's kind of how I got into the business that I'm in, or the profession that I'm in now. I was a Residence Life Don for 3 years of my university experience, and really found community and connection, and found much of the things that I've talked about up until now. Another great way to get involved is to be a part of our student activities team, and do recognize that within a lot of the opportunities I talk about, there's lots of different roles and functions within them. So there's some more senior leadership opportunities within the student activities team, or there's also some more sort of entry level opportunities that you can get involved in. And the good thing is that we actually hire for those during both semesters. So, you know, if it's not something that you're willing to try first semester, maybe you get another shot at it in your second semester while you're here. We have an opportunity called Peer Academic Leaders, our PALs, and so their primary function is focusing on academic programming and individual one-on-one academic support for students, primarily here within the community, but they collaborate a lot with different partners from the UW campus as well. You know, something that is really unique to this campus at St. Jerome's is our campus ministry. You know, for example, I could talk to you a little bit about that. That faith, spirituality, or religion just in general is often an untouched component of students' lives. And so we've got a really, really rich development program if that is something that you're looking for or you want to get involved in. And the really amazing thing is that it's open to everyone, which is fantastic. Our director of campus ministry, Sean Hayes, he runs that program for us, and he's certainly someone that you'll probably be able to meet if you attend one of our open houses. Student union is another great way to get involved. Some of our student union representatives have direct communication with our president and our vice president academic. We have a really, really lively queer and LGBTQS plus community called PRISM that is really, really growing and making an impact in our community. Yeah, and so all of those opportunities, and sometimes even more, because we're actually always trying to find new ways to get students involved, whether it be during orientation types of opportunities, both for when students get here or even in the winter. The program is always evolving and always growing, and gives students an opportunity to collaborate with the community in different ways that we certainly think you might not be able to get everywhere else. All right, that's a great segue to residence, which, as I mentioned during my introduction, I lived in residence during my undergraduate experience in first year, and certainly as a Don for 3 years. But then professionally, I lived on campus for 6 years of my 15-year career, and it really has really shaped my life in so many ways, and that's due to the rich experiences that I've been able to have within different residence communities. And so if you'll bear with me for just a second, I don't often like to read too much, but there is a quote that I think sums up my view and my passion for residence and what I think the residence experience can offer. And it goes a little something like this: the very nature of residence living, with many students from diverse backgrounds expressing different ideas, lifestyles, and expectations living together, provides a ready-made laboratory for the learning of important life skills that have the potential to significantly impact students' future interpersonal relationships and career successes. Students are forced by the situations they encounter, the activities of those with whom they share space, the issues they confront, or the intervention of resident staff to face their abilities to function interpersonally on so many levels. And I just think that's such a rich quote, this whole idea of a ready-made laboratory for lots of different people coming together for many for the very first time and engaging in so many different ways. There's so much out of the classroom learning that takes place in the residence environment that I just think is so rich and fantastic. Other reasons that, I think, and the research tells us that it's really important to live in residence. Students who live in residence are more positive about their university experience. Most certainly here at St. Jerome's, you're much more likely to have interactions with faculty in our hallways because we're such a tight-knit community. It's not uncommon to see a faculty member in residence. It's not uncommon to see a student affairs management team member in residence, or even our president walking the halls. And those little rich interactions can do a lot for your experience and help you succeed. We tend to think that students are more involved when they live in residence. Those are just some of the highlights that we know that the research tells us of really what make up the residence advantage. Something that we're really proud about in the St. Jerome's community is our student staff member to resident ratio. And so in our one of our more new buildings, Siegfried and Ryan Hall, our student staff to student ratio is 1 to 29. And that's actually a great average compared to lots of communities across the province and the country that I'm aware of. And in a little bit more of our traditional building, Finn, it's more of a 1 to 18, so even a little bit less. So you're getting good contact with an upper year student that is really living in your community and meant to be there to support you. Our residence life dons do play a little. They're certainly not security guards. We consider them community developers, but they are wandering the halls in the evenings and definitely play a role when students, might be needing a little bit of extra support in different situations. They're well trained to support student after hours. But we also, throughout the year or anytime we have students in our buildings, we always have a professional staff member on call who's also able to be in the community and support students after hours for no matter what type of issue they might be experiencing or having. And maybe last, but certainly not least, one favorable thing about the St. Jerome's campus and our residence buildings is our proximity to everything. Your proximities to the Student Leadership Center or the Student Life Center, across the creek at the University of Waterloo, the proximity to main campus, and the proximity to the physical activities space, the PAC across the creek as well at the University of Waterloo. All those amenities are still available to a St. Jerome student who's living in residence on this campus. Still, within the residence context here, we think it's really important to share a little bit about our facilities. One thing that I have been super impressed about since I've come to St. Jerome's is just the quality of our facilities. If I'm not mistaken, our newest residence, built in 2017, Siegfried and Ryan, is just a fantastic building with fantastic amenities. Laundry included in an overall residence and meal plan price. Laundry is located within the building, so that's not an extra cost. We've got fantastic study spaces within the building. We've got fantastic lounge spaces in the building, and the main floor, when you come to visit us, you'll see what amazing natural light there is in the building. So just from a facility standpoint, St. Jerome's is really excelling in that area. You can see in front of you at what a typical room might look like, both a single room or a double room. And that's more or less really the configuration that you'll see in either one of our buildings. Another thing that I should mention is we have a wonderful gender inclusive living option, if that's something that you're interested in, and we've got great staff here to talk about what that means either during an open house or more privately. So if that's something that interests you, please reach out to us and talk to us. And then certainly also last but not least, when figuring out your placement in residence, we work really closely with accessible needs at the University of Waterloo, and so we're able to accommodate and certainly any accessible needs that you might have. And that's certainly a top priority for us. So if there's anything, we ask you to share it with us, and we're happy to work out a living accommodation that suits your needs and is good for you. Okay, a little bit about food. I just can't stop saying enough things about everything that I'm impressed with since joining this institution this past July. But the one most amazing thing about our food option and our food facility at St. Jerome's is, if you're looking to grab a meal quickly and go, that's certainly something that you can attain and you can do within the St. Jerome's dining facility. But it's really a community dining facility. And so while it is open all throughout the day, there are specific meal serving times. And we try to adjust those from time to time to suit different students' needs, or if we get feedback from students on the hours that the actual meals are being served, we're able to maneuver around those sometimes. But it really is a place where we invite students to sit down and enjoy their meal in community. And so it's certainly not a place where you sit down and you won't recognize anywhere around you. It's a dining facility for our students and for our residents. So it's a place that becomes familiar, and hopefully it becomes a spot where you kick off your day the right way with breakfast, and then come back, for a way to regenerate and recoup, whether it be at lunchtime or at dinner time. So we're really proud of the space, and it often functions as a multifunctional space as well. Something that we're really proud about is we offer community dinners every month, where we try and bring the whole community together, and staff and sometimes faculty and senior leadership to join in meals with students. Some particulars that you might be interested in, or good things that you should keep in mind, is that we are a mandatory meal plan residence accommodation a type of facility. So we don't offer any type of apartment style accommodation at St. Jerome's. And therefore, if you're living in residence with us, you do have to have a meal plan no matter what. But that being said, our director of food services, James, him and his team are great at making food accommodations for students. However, we do highly recommend, if you've got some really, really complex needs when it comes to dietary restrictions, to get in touch with us, and we'll put you in touch with James to talk about what that looks like on a daily basis, because it can vary or might be slightly limited at times depending on how complex your dietary restrictions are. But it's certainly something that we want to try and accommodate and work with you on a little bit more of an individual basis. I can't leave this out. There's two other fantastic things about sort of meal availability on campus. The other is the Funkin' Cafe. We've got our own little cafe with fair trade coffee and amazing baked goods. It's certainly a center point and a collection point on our campus where students go to meet, sometimes go to study, or just go to kick back. And then we also have a small facility called the Buttery, which is a little bit of a community kitchen, but it's not accessible on a regular basis by students. Our residents' life staff like to run events throughout that community kitchen, but it's also a place that can be available for a little bit of a late night snack throughout the week. And our food service provider will often provide meals and different things there in the evening times. And sometimes that can be on a little bit of an altered schedule, or look a little bit different depending on the night of the week. But it's a fantastic facility, and certainly a gathering point for community members living in residence. Last but not least, you might be wondering what makes the whole student affairs system tick. And while not my entire team is featured on the slide in front of you, the bulk of the student affairs team is. I think one of the biggest difference makers that you'll get by coming to St. Jerome's, and certainly living in residence with us, or being a part of our community, and certainly hopefully being a co-registered student, is face-to-face and human interaction. So while any of these folks in front of you can book an appointment with, you're highly likely to encounter them and probably get a quicker response on something by just walking through our hallway, which happens to be a main thoroughway between our residence spaces and our dining facility. So on any given day, on any given hour, on any given minute, it's highly likely that you're going to interact with a student affairs staff member. Some things that I'd really like to point out that I think are really important to your success as well. And maybe I'll start, I'll go a little bit, I think this is counterclockwise, looking at the gentleman with the suit and tie on. That's Zeke. He's our residence life coordinator, and he supports our residence life staff, supports students living in residence that might be facing any challenges or transitional issues. But he's certainly really, really hands-on and a main figure and a main part of our residence team. Next to him, the gentleman with the glasses is one of our advisors, and his name is John. And I think one of the most special things about St. Jerome's is your quick access to an academic advisor. But certainly what we pride ourselves most about at St. Jerome's is you're not just receiving transactional academic advising, but really our advisors are trained in really to be developmental advisors. So to not just talk to you about your courses and to not just to talk about you what your career or your academic trajectory will be, but also what your personal growth and personal development trajectory might be while you're engaging with us here on campus. Down to the far, I guess it would be my far left, and if you're looking at the screen, I think that would be the same for you. But that's Britt. She's also one of our advisors, predominantly works with first-year students at St. Jerome's and also oversees our peer academic leaders. Something that I haven't talked about too much up until now is just the amazing service learning opportunities at St. Jerome's. I probably could have spoken about that a little bit when I was touching upon our leadership opportunities, but if learning about social justice at both a community-based level or an international level, and learning a little bit more about yourself and how you fit into the greater world with some really unique experiences, Michelle Metzger is absolutely someone that you should touch base with. And we've got lots of different opportunities within service for you to try out if a bigger international trip is not for you right from the get-go. Next to Michelle, you'll see Erica Toffelmeyer, who works both with mainly our student leadership teams, but also has a really, really close connection to our campus ministry program and has been a longstanding member of the community here at St. Jerome's, and I believe is a St. Jerome's graduate herself, and so has a lot of rich history and rich ties to the community, and is certainly one of our most invested people here in the community with our students. Next to Erica is Rebecca. And Rebecca is our manager of residence and community life. And Rebecca, you will see her here on a daily basis, certainly is a bit of a quarterback and a focal point to our residence community, but is also invested in working with our activities teams and our community life. And in many ways, trying to make sure we are engaging and incorporating some of our off-campus community into all of the great things that St. Jerome's has to offer. And last but not least, Angelina, glasses on the lowest corner to the right on your screen, is our wellness coordinator, which is something we're really, really proud of. St. Jerome's is really building a strong foundation for a culture of wellness on campus. And some things to pay attention to when you come here is our stepped care model. So we focus more on preventative wellness and prevention, and we connect more with our partners at the University of Waterloo for a little bit of a more clinical need if students are in need of that from a wellness perspective. But prevention and overall holistic wellness is something that we focus on, and students who engage with us here in the community can look forward to lots of workshops and different opportunities to really stay well throughout both the fall and winter or spring terms, depending on what your trajectory looks like. Oh, I think you're muted, Emily.
Thank you so much. I was muted. Thanks so much, Clayton, for your time and energy tonight. Just so appreciate you coming and talking about your experiences here at St. Jerome's and all that there is to offer for our students as they come in and kickstart their university career. So just a quick note here, folks, about scholarships. We're proud to award our students for academic achievement and also their understanding and commitment to the values of St. Jerome's University. We have a variety of entrance and upper year scholarships that are exclusive to St. Jerome's University students. And you can find out more information about scholarships and awards, and they can be found online at sju.ca/fees financing. So what happens next? I would encourage you to book a campus tour to come and see us for yourself. You can do so on the University of Waterloo website. And I would also encourage you to come and visit us at our March open house, which takes place on Saturday, March 23rd. So coming up in just a few weeks. Taking a campus tour and really experiencing the heart of a university campus is one of the best ways to see if a particular university is a good fit for you. You want to find a good balance of community, lifestyle, and academics when searching for your best fit. So come on over, meet with one of us or one of our awesome tour guides, and let us show you around and give you a little bit of a taste of what the St. Jerome's experience is really like. If you have already received your offer of admission, congratulations. We're so pleased for you. Keep an eye on your mailbox for a special package coming to you from St. Jerome's University. If you're thinking about living in residence and really taking advantage of all of those wonderful things that Clayton touched on in his talk tonight, the residence application is now open. It opened on February 1st and it's ready for you to fill in. So you need to first accept your offer of admission from the University of Waterloo and complete the first year guarantee residence application. That application is due on June 3rd. So you've got some time. And I will also note that your timeliness of filling out the application doesn't actually have any impact. So feel free to take your time on making that decision. Come to the open house, book a campus tour, really take your time to feel out all of your options and know that you've got lots of time and space to be able to make that decision. Once you fill out that residence guarantee application, you'll pay a non-refundable housing deposit via credit card, and then you'll rank your residence choices. If living at St. Jerome's is a top priority for you, we really do encourage you to rank St. Jerome's as your #1 choice for residence. And we also encourage you to fill out our residence community interest form, which you can scan via QR code on the slide that's up on the screen right now. This form is where you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and indicate your interest in our residence. Completing both of these steps, so ranking us #1 and filling out the residence community interest form, are two great ways of increasing your chances of getting a spot here in residence at St. Jerome's University. If you are still waiting on an offer of admission, keep an eye on your email inbox for an email from the University of Waterloo letting you know that you're in. And lastly, be sure to follow St. Jerome's University on Instagram to stay up to date on all things SJU. You can follow us on Instagram at St. Jerome's Uni. All right, so that brings us to the end of our talk tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and hearing us out on a little bit more about St. Jerome's and all of the various elements of what this experience could look like for you. And please don't hesitate to get in touch. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can reach me at emily.litster@uwaterloo.ca for more information about St. Jerome's and the St. Jerome's student experience. But for now, we will say goodnight and thank you so much for joining us. Take good care.